All right, Mr. Antonucci, back at you with number 4 from the 2024 AP Calculus AB exam free response questions. So, number 4, the graph of the differentiable function f shown for -6 to 7 has a horizontal tangent at x equals -2, right there, and is linear from 0 to 7, so this is a straight line decreasing. Let R be the region in the second quadrant bounded by the graph of f, so right here. The vertical line x equals -6 right here, the x and y axes, so this gray section. Region R has an area of 12. Good to know. Part A, the function g is defined by g of x equals the definite integral from 0 to x. Find the values of g of -6, g of 4, g of 6. So g of -6 equals the integral from 0 to -6 of f of t dt, which is not going to be 12 because the limits are backwards. You're starting at 0 and going backwards to -6. So if you flip the limits, change the sign from -6 to 0, and you get f of t dt, which is -12. So that's that one. G of 4 is going to be the integral from 0 to 4 of f of t dt, which is equal to the area of this triangle right here, which is 1/2 4 times 2, which is 4. And then the last one, g of 6, is equal to the integral from 0 to 6 of f of t dt. So we already know from 0 to 4 has a value of 4, and then from 4 to 6 is that triangle there, but it's going to get counted as negative because the region is below the x-axis, so minus 1/2 2 times 1. So the total gives us 3 right there. Okay, so for number 4, for the function g, it's defined in part A. Find all values x in the interval for which the graph of g is a critical point. Give a reason for your answer. Well, critical point occurs when g prime of x equals 0. G prime of x is equal to f of x, and that equals 0 when x equals 4. You can see it right there on the graph. So we didn't have to classify that as a relative max, min, or neither, so we're done with that part right there. Problem C says the function h defined by h equals the definite integral from -6 to x of f prime of t. Find the values of h of 6, h prime of 6, h double prime. Show your work. So h of 6 is going to be the integral from -6 to 6 of f prime of t dt, which is f of 6 minus f of -6. Okay? Because it's f prime, we have to use a fundamental theorem of calculus, and we know the values of f. F of 6 is -1, and f of -6 is 0.5. So that's -1 minus 0.5, which is -1.5. H prime of 6 is equal to f prime of 6. Now, f prime, based on the graph, f prime is the derivative at this point right here. They told us the graph is linear, so we could just use the slope of the line, which you could see the slope triangle be down 1/2, so it's -1/2. And h double prime of 6 equals f double prime of 6. Now, since the graph of f is linear at x equals 6, its derivative, the slope, is a constant, and therefore the second derivative is 0 because the slope is constant. So h double prime of 6 equals 0 since h prime is constant on 0 to 7. Not sure if you need to add that last little part there. but I like to include that just in case. So that is it for number 4. Now, again, at the time of this recording, College Board has not released the scoring guidelines for this, so I do not know the points breakdown, but I'm fairly confident, about 99% confident, these are all correct because I've worked through them myself, and I've also have other resources that have worked through them, and these answers have been confirmed. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. Take care.